Let's start on this tweet from Donald Trump. He was refusing to wear a mask for many months. Now, apparently, it's all about patriotism. He says, we're united in our effort to defeat the invisible China virus. There's a lot to unpack even in just his description of it. People say it's patriotic to wear a face mask when you can't socially distance. There's nobody more patriotic than me, your favourite president. I'm not sure where to start on this, James. What do you think of this?
I like the presidential seal on the mask. It's very fetching. Look, the president's come under a lot of criticism for this. He was criticised again in his interview with Chris Wallace over the weekend for not supporting the wearing of masks. He tried to deflect by pointing to the fact that his own Surgeon General at times had said not to wear a mask, but that was a long time ago. Seems like he's finally getting with the program and that he's given in and understood that there's a lot of pressure on him to do that. Needs to get behind it. So better late than never, but it would have been better to see this from the president some time ago.
It was quite some interview. At least a couple of times Donald Trump was in the interview would yell out to his aides, hey, go and get those figures for me to prove my argument right now. One of them, he was claiming America has the lowest mortality rate in the world. I mean, this just flies so much in the face of logic. Yes, you can, sort of make up, a narrative, but surely even his base won't be saying that this is something that's verifiable or true.
Look, that's the president's tactic, to use his own figures and his own arguments to try and distract and trying to move on. I mean, it was quite an extraordinary interview for a number of reasons, not least of which was seeing a senior journalist and the President of the United States trading over who could answer a test better and who knew the answer to the question, what's 100 minus 7? But the back and forth on the figures was illuminating. The president didn't have the numbers in his head. He needed to call for them, and he was trying to find evidence to marshal, many people think.
And his main argument was that the numbers are bad because there's so much testing, that if you weren't doing so much testing, that you wouldn't be seeing so many deaths. But objectively, that is not an argument that holds water. It's quite clear objectively that the United States is doing very badly in this coronavirus response, and the president needs to bear the responsibility for that.
There was also, we'll just play our viewers this part of the attack from Donald Trump. He did try to start to land a few lines on Joe Biden. He was part of his response in terms of his opposition.
Well, I'm going to ask you a direct question about Joe Biden. Is Joe Biden senile?
I don't want to say that. I say he's not competent to be president. To be president, you have to be sharp and tough and so many other things. He doesn't even come out of his basement. They think, oh, this is a great campaign. So he goes in. I'll then make a speech. It'll be a great speech. And some young guys start writing, Vice President Biden said this. He didn't say it. Joe doesn't know he's alive, okay? He doesn't know he's alive.
I mean, this does strike me as something that could be more effective. Joe Biden, he's given some of his own very strange responses in the past few months, James. Some very odd moments for him. I mean, not that there aren't with Donald Trump, but this might be something that is a bit more effective for Donald Trump.
Look, the president's instincts on this are right. Whether he can prosecute that campaign against Biden is another question, but Joe Biden hasn't been at his strongest. He has had a number of senior moments. He has had a number of times where he hasn't appeared to know what he's saying. He couldn't recall facts. He wasn't as sharp in the room as he normally is. He's a 77-year-old candidate for the office of president. He would be 81, almost 82 by the time that his presidency finishes if he wins. That is a factor in this campaign, and there's a question voters are asking themselves. That's why we're seeing such heated debate about who his vice presidential pick is. So the president's instincts on that are right. He also pointed out, people aren't excited about a Biden presidency. He's a compromise candidate. He's bringing together the two wings of his own party, but no one's jumping out of their seat to see him become president. Of course, Chris Wallace reminding him that may be true, but there's a lot of negative energy against the president wanting to remove him that will counterweigh that.
And let's be honest, most of the time people are motivated to vote. It's to not vote for the other candidate, essentially. Just finally, another extraordinary interview. This one in the UK on British television with the Chinese ambassador over there. It was the Chinese ambassador was hoping to be able to attack the UK. The tables were turned, showing vision of Uyghur Muslims, including this vision that Australian security intelligence, or I should say a particular body, ASPI, was believing this was Uyghur Muslims being held in detention. You can see there they're blindfolded, shaved heads, and eventually we got somewhat of a concession from the ambassador about what could be happening, although on a small scale in terms of these camps, which is effectively, some people are saying genocide, claims of forced abortions and even sterilisation of women, these Uyghur Muslims.
Well, the Ambassador Liu Xiaoming really had no answer on what this was all about, tried to quibble about some numbers on Xinjiang, talking about, the number of incidents, terrorist incidents there, talking about the growth in population, trying to deny what is actually happening. It has been really quite thoroughly examined by a number of different sources now. He really didn't have any answer to explain why you were seeing this sort of mass treatment, hooded, blindfolded, shaved, people being moved from place to place on train carriages. And it's such an evocative image. It reminds us of another time in history when genocide was taking place. That was another stunning interview. And it had some barbed threats in there about China's response to the UK decision to ban Huawei from its telephone network, saying that they hadn't really come up with their response to that, but that there would be one. But I think it's telling that the ambassador felt the need to go and be interviewed, that he felt the need to show some degree of transparency, but his answers shouldn't give any confidence about the way China is going to respond to very legitimate concerns about what it is doing to its own people.